Jesse Lee Peterson, your karma came through this year. All them years you was talking bad about different groups of people, or your skeletons just came out the closet. Your own people that you love, that you was capable for all these years, called you out, and rightfully so. Trust me, this day is long overdue. But as the old school say, everybody's karma comes right on time. So I guess it was the perfect time for it to come. Jesse Lee Peterson's homosexuality has been exposed. Let's talk about it, shall we? Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's your girl, Miss Analytical. I'm coming to you straight out of NYC on this clear Thursday morning, the day before New Year's Eve, second to the last day before the new year. So, literally, I want to give a shout out to Tariq Nasheed because he's the one that actually spoke about this this morning on his radio show. And I was literally up. I woke up this morning around about 2:50 a.m. and my battery was on 1%, and I was like, oh snap, better charge my phone. So I got the notification about Tariq Nasheed's, talking about like it was like butt broken, like the whole like mentality of it. And so when I turned to it, I'm hearing about Jesse Lee Peterson being exposed as a homosexual. So I had to basically turn up the volume and listen to it while I was charging my phone. So I'm not going to only tell you what was mentioned, but I'm going to actually read to you what was said on a YouTuber's video, because they actually had the video of the guy who protested against him. So Tariq Nasheed basically stated that he's come in contact with him a couple of times. He came on his show twice when they were debating. And I'm going to say this. They always have gotten along. They've never had a beef with one another. But Tariq Nasheed said, I always suspected that this man was a homosexual, because my thing is this. You up in your 70s. You don't have a wife. You claim that you have a son. But the truth about it is, word on the curb is that son really isn't yours, that you claim that you have. Also, you never linked to a woman. You always talking about booty, this, booty, that. And men that really do stuff like that, and this is the truth, when you hear people talking about homosexuality, this, homosexuality, that, a lot of times they're projecting themselves and their own hatred onto you, because they wish they could be open as themselves like the ones that they condemn. All right? Now, another thing is that he even mentioned, and I heard this last year, there was this man that basically talked about Jesse Lee Peterson was logging in to an account of his. And you know how like you go into like a private account and you do go like on a search engine, so you look up stuff. He actually was searching for gay porn. And it was gay porn that, let's keep it real, you know what kind it was. It was with two men, and more than likely those two men were white, okay? Because Jesse Lee, one thing he is real about, he loved his white peoples. So instead of just, clearing the search engine and then logging out, he basically forgot to do both. So his co-worker, the person who was cool with him, he was looking at it, and he was basically, well, not his co-worker, his employee was looking at it. And he was like, wait a minute, this dude is a fraud. He was searching for gay porn. And so he basically broke the story, and he was like, Jesse is a fraud. Then there was another story that came out like the beginning of this year, that Jesse Lee Peterson was actually searching to pick up gay men on a website, on a gay dating website. He was searching and looking up to see if he could date gay men. but he was on the low with it. So that came out, but Jesse came forward and was like, that those are lies. But he just said like, those are lies, and that's it. And it was never any mention of it again. So it could have been different stories coming about with Jesse Lee Peterson through the years, but his people came and caught it at the moment, and they suppressed it. Because I'm going to be real with you, Jesse got a lot of money. I looked up his net worth a couple of years ago. Dude got bank. Dude makes money on his YouTube channel because he got the radio, also the radio show. Then he got the show, the Fallen State. Then he got the church. So you know he getting as a 501c3 or 501c4 status. Then he got the books that he's written. Then he do the tours. Jesse is a millionaire in his own right. Okay, so he is successful. But what occurred is that these two white guys, and one of them particularly, actually was protesting during the holiday season, and they filmed it on YouTube. And I'm going to definitely post a video as what they said, as well as the photos, to let you know that this is not fraud. And this is what Tariq Nasheed was mentioning on his show early this morning. Now, to give you the breakdown of this whole situation, what occurred is this. These 2 or 3 white men, but 2 of them was talking, basically are calling out Jesse Lee Peterson for being a fraud. They're calling him a fraud because he's still, after years, after a quarter of a century after they've known of his homosexuality, and he supposedly was trying to, stop the situation, he still is committing, quote unquote, what they're saying, the sin of homosexuality. So they decided to protest, and they have posters saying Jesse Peterson is the conservative preacher, is living a lie. He's angry, fearful. He's sexual deviant. Jesse is ducking, and he goes to the Bible. He's the Bible go-to guy. So what happened is that there is a man who lived with Jesse Lee Peterson for 25 years. Now, I got an issue with that. This man said he lived with him for 25 years, okay? And he said that when he was living with him, Jesse Lee Peterson liked to go on these 2 channels, channel 599 and channel 600 on DirecTV. Now, both of the channels consisted of porn, but instead of it just being porn, he liked to go on the ones that had the gay porn. So he was looking like, wait a minute, why you into this when you supposed to be a man of God? Then on top of it, you also basically try to touch my genital areas, and you trying to open my pants to look down. And so he became uncomfortable with it. And he basically was like, Jesse, as a person who's a Christian, you need help. So he didn't, which he should have mentioned this before and exposed him. But based on how the man looked like he was a person that was on hard times, who basically struggled maybe with substance abuse, or maybe he's sick, because based on his appearance, he doesn't look like he's in the best of health. And it seems to me that Jesse, because I've heard Jesse takes people in, and I feel as though he's doing that, probably preying on them to probably get at them sexually, which is very, very predatory. Okay, that's not even being a homosexual. If he's doing that, you just being a predator sexually, and you trying to turn these people out. And that's what this man said. He said he was trying to turn me out, and I let him know I'm not gay. And I just, after a while, I just separate myself from him. And I'm learning that he's still doing this stuff to this very day. So they actually decided to protest in front of his, barn, place of business, where he films and do the shows and so forth. So I'm going to read to you exactly the description of this on a YouTube channel. And the person that posted this, his name is Fabian Asensio. And the video is Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson admitted to homosexual acts. And it equals that he never was free from sinning. Now, I don't know if he admitted it, but this is what it says. We are all conservatives, and we were with Jesse from way back when he began Bond. And that's the organization, the nonprofit that he has that's actually supposed to help young black men. Okay? So it reads, unfortunately, he turned bad and actions speak louder than some conservative words. Get some real guts, Jesse, and apologize to the public, just like so many other disgraced ministers in history needed to do. You will seal your fate if you project your own hatred onto us who are patiently exposing your demons of lust. I witnessed to porn use, attempt to go down his pants, and other sexual relations with men. Longtime biggest fond financier and friend of Jesse's exposes some of this. Possibly several young men were taken advantage of sexually with one man for several years, and Jesse even admitted and apologized to this man and his family. Yes, he was married at the time. So they saying that the man was married at the time, and Jesse could have easily destroyed that marriage. So the problem is without a public admission and apology. Jesse has zero moral right to continue to represent salvation in Jesus. He needs to be honest and stop with the wicked projection of his own hate onto protesters demanding full disclosure. This is what a real minister would do, and then let the chips fall where they may. It is only right for a Christian public figure, JLP, doesn't get to keep sins secret as long as he is a minister. Their lives are an open book. If he doesn't think that is right, then get out of any type of ministry. Has Jesse any shame left at all? These are grievous, serious sins which the Reverend thinks he can just escape from and not suffer public consequences. Not. And I want to say that the way whoever wrote this is what being a Christian, in my opinion, is all about. You called out his sin and you let him know, just because you may not like homosexuality and you calling these people out, if you're doing this, you're not only a hypocrite, you're a phony, and you need to be called out as well, because you're actually doing worse. Because what you're doing is you're living a lie, number one. You've been for decades calling out homosexuality. And another thing he likes to do, he likes to pick on black lesbians. And he likes to do that and likes to say, how can you be a black lesbian? And the way he does it is so funny. And it is real funny, but at the same time, you're like, Jesse, how you want to tell this woman, because she's black and gay, that she can't be a Christian and she can't love God? Who are you to say that? And he really says this stuff. And then you gonna tell this other one, I never forget, you're gonna be like, how you gonna be a lawyer of civil rights and you a black lesbian? And he really does that. But I loves it when Gazi quote, I can't pronounce his name, but the gay man, young black man who's socialist, and he took the check and he basically calls him out for being an absentee dad, and how his mother didn't want him, and how he had to flee from Chicago to come back down, to go out to California because they knew he was a hypocrite. Now, he didn't mention the homosexuality or anything like that, but Jesse said, get him out of here. But he took the check, and he had to give him the check because he basically stayed there for 15 minutes, which is the minimum time for you to be there and get paid. So he will pay people I think it's $700 to sit there and be at the fallen state. Now, in closing, I want to say this. I have laughed at Jesse Lee Peterson on certain shows he had, and even laughed at some of the things he's done, because I do think Jesse Peterson, to a point, has said some funny things. But this man is dangerous because you're the main person that have gone out and condemned black people for standing up for their rights. This is a coon man. This is the king of the coons, okay? You have, number one, stated that, white people are not racist. The KKK was not a racist terrorist group. It was just bad white people in the group. You don't acknowledge racism at all. You basically say that you have good white peoples and you have bad white peoples, and that more black peoples are evil than white peoples. I've heard this. You could go on his page. And I want to also give a shout out to the Amazing Lucas, because I remember when he interviewed Amazing Lucas, that was the beginning of Amazing Lucas. Like, I don't want to say come to Jesus moment, but like come to reality and seeing the truth, because he saw an actual man who claimed to be a conservative and the stuff that he was saying, and they were actually arguing and debating. And that was like the beginning of him like, wait a minute, this is a conservative? And this is a young man who grew up being conservative, living in a conservative household, living in like a pro-Jesus household, and never once acted like a coon. And he's never had. And this is another thing too. A lot of these people go into like these black quote unquote conservatives of this day and era. They go into conservatism because they have a hate for themselves. They go into them attacking black people and gay people like Jesse has done through the years. And then you turn around and the same group of people that you're attacking, you basically are one of them, but you hate them because they're open and can be themselves and you can't. And it's probably because of your upbringing, or you just hate the fact that it happened. And peep this. Jesse claims that when he was a young man, he was a radical black person. That he wanted to he hated white peoples. He wanted to basically, not take them out, but basically, condemn them for what they was doing. Like he wanted to hit them and attack them. And then all of a sudden you turn into a conservative. And I believe that a lot of that had to do with maybe he was on the down low back then. And some guys who was, knew him was like, and this is when he was living in California, probably peep game like, yo, this dude is on the low and he's gay. And that probably made him hate black people, because a lot of black men are conservative when it comes to sexuality, and they will call out any heterosexual, any sexualities that are not of the heterosexual spectrum, and they will call that out. And that to me is basically putting two together, and that's why all these years why he's been condemning black people, particularly black men, because he can't handle his own homosexuality and his attraction, particularly to white men. Because every single one of those instances I mentioned where he was on those porn sites, the man that's speaking out against him, he's a white man. The people that he was going on a dating site trying to hit up, they were all white men. Jesse Lee Peterson is a self-hater. And I'm going to say this in closing. I remember years ago when he was a Tea Party person. And I remember when he was coming out and speaking bad about Obama. And I'm no way an Obama fan. I want to let that be known. But the thing I will say is that he went hard against Obama when Obama was for the LGBT rights and LGBT marriage. I mean, he went hard against him. And he even accused Obama of being a homosexual. And he would have people on the show talking about him being in the bathhouses, going in these different places. And then also, talking about even other people in the industry being gay. He even talked about Jesse Smollett and the whole thing that went down, and how his actions happened because he was a gay man. So this man has been doing this nonsense for years. He's been lying to all y'all white conservatives. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, to a point, I'm not mad. I'm glad he scammed y'all. And just like he wrote that book Scam, which I ain't going to lie, before I knew of him, I ain't going to say it, but I did buy the book. But I bought the book for $2. I didn't know who he was. This was 2007. I bought that shit for $2 at Human Bookstore. And I fucking laughed my ass off. I really did. But I threw the book away because I can't support that shit. I couldn't do it. But the shit was comical. But I'm happy that he scams y'all white people. I really am. That's the one thing I'm happy that he conned y'all asses, because even Tariq Nasheed said that you don't even believe the stuff that you say. And he was like, what? He was like, you've been conning these white people for years. Just admit it. Just tell the truth. You don't believe the stuff that you're saying. And I bet you he don't. But it was a great hustle. It was a good hustle to get the money, because white people love people like Jesse Lee Peterson. And the white people, I'm talking about those white evangelical Christians. Y'all love his ass. Y'all love the fact that he spoke out against black protesting black justice. Y'all love the fact that he was talking about going at different people, different marginalized groups. Now y'all got played, and guess what? All the money y'all donated to him, he don't have to give the money back at all. He could keep it because y'all gave it to him in good faith. And basically, to be honest with you, Jesse Lee Peterson can basically retire now, live his life as a millionaire. And I would say, Jesse, come out the closet, girl. Be yourself, girl. And with that being said, it's Miss Analytical. I'm signing off. Yes, I did it within 20 minutes, but I'll be back soon. Please listen. Please share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.